Thank you guys. It's good to be here. I've enjoyed all the discussions that I've had with you folks, and although we have a short period of time, I hope we can impress you with the mission and some of the things that Free Black Thought is doing. I'm here with my partner, Jake, who is our super spreader. A lot of you know Jake. Everywhere I go, people know Jake. So I'll start off. Free Black Thought is one of those things that are a pain in the butt because we have to say Jewish space lasers didn't cause this fire, the earth isn't flat, and black people are individuals. So since I don't have a lot of time, let's do the bottom line up front. You're not immune. Everybody in this room, whether or not you were born in America, America sees you as a member of a race. You didn't choose that. Only thing you can choose is how seriously to take that definition, which you are not in charge of. Okay? So the best thing you can do is be an individual, which is why scientific and independent research is a best defense. So try not to get caught. But that's not so easy. Because if you go to the National Mall and the National African American History Museum, you will see these facts. That these concepts, that these parts of your character are actually defined by race, which is a complete reversal of what brought us together in 1964. We go a step beyond that because we think the very idea that some say was reality in 1619 is a bad idea for lots of reasons. I wish I could go into all of these, but I'm sure you know a lot of them. So Free Black Thought exists as a foundation. We're going into our fourth fiscal year here, and people come to us and say, this is how I have been discriminated against, or these are the presumptions about DEI that I have to fight. And these would be science professors of all sorts. And so we have in our voices section scores of people who have come to us and said, people think they know who black people are supposed to be. They think they've got the formula. And you can hear in all of our institutions very detailed, critical ways of saying this is how we avoid harm, which actually puts us into a bucket of our choosing. I want to highlight Dr. Lee, who many of you may have seen interviewed. She was a DEI officer here in California, and she asked questions like, why do we believe this? Or why is this policy here? And she was ceremoniously drummed out. The foundation takes up several projects. Our most successful is the Journal of Free Black Thought. Many of you may see us on Substack. We have over 9,000 subscribers. The FBT podcast, we're going into our third season now, hosted by Connie Morgan, who is great. She was a military intelligence officer, and she's still doing her job. The compendium was one of our original documents, which is about 300 pages of black authors, writers, poets, artists on every topic. So it's an annotated bibliography of a wide variety of sources, except for the 7 or 8 that you will see on the major news networks. Free Black Moms is our newest project, and then we have several others. I'm working to advise on Chat FBT and the hybrid homeschool project because we think education, we're just hoping the next generation doesn't screw up as badly. What's wonderful about being part of this organization is that we have lots of friends and people who have told us, you guys are saying the right things, you guys are doing the right things, and so it's lovely to have all of these friends. It would be even better to have that many funders, but we think we're worthy. Our message is simple. If there's a slogan you could take, Black Lives Matter. We get many images, obviously, that individual organizations can't combat mass media, and things are believed about Black people that are patently false. And so Connie's starting this one to talk about the value of family. And you would think people wouldn't scratch their heads if Black people said, let's pay attention to family values. But quite simply, we're about Black American diversity. 50 million of us, which I don't know. I checked in LLM and they said that's bigger than Spain. I don't know. But we'd be in the top 30 countries. So think of the intellectual diversity of a country. Not necessarily a country within a country, but your friends, your brothers. We can do this together.
So I'm in the awkward position that I can't be entirely against DEI because I'm part of Free Black Thought as a kind of diversity initiative. How did I get involved in Free Black Thought? I should, by the way, give a shout out to our president, Eric Smith, standing at the top in the back there. We were glad you could join us. He was supposed to be testifying in a DEI-related trial, but he's here today instead. Okay, so I got involved in Free Black Thought as a result of my experience as a professor at Occidental College here in Los Angeles. I became concerned about the messages students were getting from my colleagues and the administration. Now, I didn't witness overt direct censorship, but rather censorship by omission, as well as self-censorship, especially around race. I was particularly concerned about these forms of censorship because I'm the father of Black or mixed kids, and so every time my college issued some tendentious pronouncement about Blackness and declined to admit the possibility of any alternative perspective, my children flashed before my eye, and I thought how it would impact them psychologically to hear disempowering messages like the ones my college gave out. So I got involved in FBT in order to help counter censorship by omission and to amplify Black voices that were not self-censoring or dissenting. But rather dissenting. So 2 examples. In the spring of 2019, it emerged that a member of Oxy's Board of Trustees had worn blackface in 1984 while a student at Oxy. So a photo of her surfaced dressed as, how do we make this thing? Where's that? There it is. Okay, got it. Dressed as Tito of the Jackson 5. She apologized, resigned from the board. In response, the college selected for its common readings for incoming first-year students a set of readings focused on, quote, race, racism, white supremacy, and intersecting forms of oppression, end quote. This included Brent Staples' New York Times column, How Blackface Feeds White Supremacy, and Kimberly Crenshaw's TED Talk on the urgency of intersectionality, among others. Staples' article concludes that segregation and eugenics form, quote, the historical backdrop against which blackface photographs deserve to be seen. Now, I knew there had to be more to blackface than white supremacy, although that's part of it. And I thought we owed it to our students not just to pimp intersectionality and other fashionable theories, but to present a variety of views. Now, I'd read John McWhirter's 2019 article, Are all instances of blackface alike, in which he notes that, quote, there's a difference between blacking up to mock Black people and blacking up in affectionate imitation of a Black person. I thought it would have served our students to have had that perspective to chew on as they pondered the disgraced trustee who'd blacked up to resemble an admired musician. So I created an alternative summer reading list, so an alternative to the college's reading list, which included the McWhirter article and others. and I called it the Summer Uncommon Readings. The point wasn't to defend blackface, but simply to provide some counterpoint and diversity of view. And this exercise here was the germ of what later became the Compendium of Free Black Thought. And there's an image of the top of the Compendium of Free Black Thought. So then came George Floyd. You can find this on our website, by the way. Then came George Floyd. Many departments at my college shared statements. One of them said, share these with the campus. One of them said over and over and over, black students say, Oxy is killing me. Now, I realized that if my college, if academia as a whole were left to its own devices, it would create a set of norms and understandings around being black that would cripple any young black person who internalized even a fraction of them. And I saw it happen. A black student of mine, a handsome, brilliant, popular freshman from a wealthy Florida suburb, he came to me halfway through his first semester at Oxy and said, Professor, I've never met people so liberal in all my life. And I said, look, you're going to hear a lot of unusual perspectives. It's college, and my door's always open. Come talk about them with me. And I thought, okay, he'll be all right. Well, 2 semesters later, he wrote a piece in the campus paper talking about how isolating it was to be black at Oxy and how many microaggressions black students experience. In 2 semesters, he went from being shocked at how liberal the campus was to being wounded by campus microaggressions. And I spoke with black colleagues of mine who were very unhappy about this fact and unhappy about the situation on campus, but who self-censored, refusing to say anything publicly for a variety of defendable reasons. And so I decided that if my college was going to censor by omission, exposing students only to perspectives on race that ranged from far left to completely insane, and if everyone on my campus was going to be self-censoring, not speaking out despite their own disagreements, then I needed to find a way to promote black voices that offered diverse visions of what it meant to be black in America. And that's why I joined FBT with its mission to uncensor heterodox black voices. So there you go.